We're recording. We're live, Kenny. What are you doing?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies,
Uh,
the show about two guys you don't know talking about movies you don't care about. I'm Kenny Lane.
I am Lucas Hill, and we're buddies.
And we are Buddies on Buddies. Fuck it.
It doesn't fucking matter. No one gives a shit.
Whatever. Who cares?
We are two buddies who talk about buddy comedy action movies. Can we give them a brief history of who we are? Who are you?
Me? I'm a riddle wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a box of question marks.
Wrapped in bacon, and I'm delicious.
I'm just a guy that watches a bunch of dumb movies and talks about it. Who are you, Lucas?
I am a guy who does the same stuff. I don't know a quarter of what Kenny knows in movies at all. I just have a much better taste, and I read screenplays for a living. Kenny, real quick, can we talk about your wall? Because it's awesome. The wall behind you.
Oh, the vinyls?
Yeah.
These are ones I picked up mostly, I think, in record stores like the 99 Cent Bin in like around LA. Sound Stations in Westchester, I think, was the one I got most of these. But I don't know if I can see some of the top ones, but we got like Steve Martin, Warren Zevon, Van Halen, Chris Christopherson, Bob Seger, Richard Pryor, whole collection back there.
It's really cool. I
Thanks.
think it's really cool. Because when we first
some people like it, some people don't.
Who comes in and goes, that's not cool?
Well, it was in my bedroom initially, and then Megan was like, "Can we take this somewhere else?" So
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just remember when we first did the test run of this, it was just like you in your living room hovered over your laptop with nothing but the ceiling above you. I was like,
right, all dark and
yeah, maybe let's liven up the background, and then you put me to complete shame with your fucking badass wall of records.
That was the perfect attention. What would really fuck Lucas on the show? Aha! I know.
He judges me. I'll get him. We're buddies, but we're contentious buddies.
The most contentious.
You would say. So every week we watch a movie, a buddy cop action comedy usually. And this week we watch a special one. Kenny, do you want to explain before we, not the plot or anything, just the name of the movie and the stars?
Sure. We are watching the 1982 Paramount Pictures release Partners, starring Ryan O'Neal and John Hurt.
I will put the entirety of the movie in the comments below, our description below, because it is on YouTube, as Kenny was sure it was last week, and he was right. It is something else. Yeah. Anyway, before we get into that, did you watch anything this week that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, last night I watched. I guess it's called The Way of the Dragon. That's I knew it as Return of the Dragon. It's the Bruce Lee movie that he made before Enter the Dragon, but was released afterwards. They retitled it to bank off the success of Enter the Dragon. Yeah, I watched that last night. Have you seen it?
I'm sure I have, but I don't recall anything from it. So what are the highlights?
Highlights? Well, I got into a 70s kung fu movie kick like a few years ago, along with like spaghetti westerns and stuff. And it's basically kind of a mixture of camp and some cool scenes. Kung fu, especially like real 70s kung fu, is kind of a acquired taste, I guess. So it all kind of depends on what you find good in an action movie. I don't know if action movie fans are going to like it. Like if you grew up on like Seagal and Van Damme and stuff like that. But if you like 70s grindhouse cinema, that kind of stuff, it's worth checking out. If nothing else, for the fight between Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee at the end of the movie.
So I always confuse that with the big one, the big famous popular one, or
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. So that's not the same movie. Interesting. So I have seen it because I remember the Chuck Norris fight really well. I didn't realize those were two different movies because they bled together in my head.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't really, because Enter the Dragon is kind of a contentious movie among like kung fu fans because it's a very Americanized version of what was kind of going on at that point. I've noticed like kung fu enthusiasts don't really like Enter the Dragon that much, but Bruce Lee fans think it's like one of the greatest movies of all time. So it kind of depends on where you're coming from, but it's definitely not like his other movies, and it's not like the foreign, kung fu movies of that era.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it is probably one of the quintessential like tournament movies, like karate tournaments or
Right.
kung fu tournament, whatever ones. But yeah, if you watch a bunch of other stuff like the Shaw Brothers stuff, it comes across as a very Western, version of a kung fu movie. Even though Bruce Lee's great in it and it's got Jim Kelly and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of one of those hit or miss with people.
I had trouble watching old kung fu movies. I love kung fu and all that, and I loved them in like every
Yeah.
white male in their 13 to 22. Like, oh, I love kung fu movies. But if I'm being blatantly honest, the slow moving kung fu and the
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's
you got to take it with like, I think to watch it with a think of like watch it with sort of camp aspect, and there's also really cool shit happening. It's kind of like the spaghetti westerns of the time. It's hard to, the dubbing throws a lot of people off. Like, what is this? Especially American audiences. But once, if you can get into them, I see where Tarantino is coming with them. These are the most awesome genres, I think.
Yeah, we'll just have to take Tarantino's word for it.
Yes, so, and mine.
Who are
you gonna trust?
Tarantino said it. I've been trying to catch up on Yellowstone, and I know it's not a movie and the show is so stupid.
Is this gonna be like every week you just check in with your TV shows? Like, I saw this episode. It's like talking to my mother. Like, this week on Yellowstone, this happened and this happened.
Look, Kenny, if you're gonna fucking attack me every week, I actually don't get to watch a lot of movies lately.
Okay.
I have a lot of catching up to do. I have a whole list, and I can't wait to get to them. But I've been behind. But I'm trying to catch up with else. Dude, the daughter in that is fucking so fucking funny. She's ridiculous.
I saw like the first season. I tuned out after that, but her character, I remember, was kind of like way overwrought and didn't make a lot of sense.
Me and Mary just crack up laughing every time she opens her stupid fucking mouth because she's supposed to be so tough and gritty and Norrish. But it's like, who the fuck is taking her seriously? I won't bother you with. Hey, Yellowstone's a stupid show, but I highly suggest it for anybody.
My mom has a T-shirt.
Really?
Yeah, she has a Yellowstone T-shirt. She's a super fan.
Huh. Maybe your mom and I should be doing a Yellowstone.
Yeah, start a podcast on Yellowstone. I was telling her about this podcast, and she's like, "So, how much money are you making?" Like, oh, well, I can't really talk about that, Mom, because it's so much.
Disney doesn't want us to. Pepsi. We have Pepsi, Disney. We have a lot of sponsors.
I was thinking we should just go ahead and just start endorsing shit, like just hold up some Nikes and hey, Miller Lite, the beer of champions.
Day beer. Genuine Jerk sponsors this.
Oh,
all right. Do you want to give us, let's get into it then. Let's get into Partners. Do you want to give us a little plot summary, Kenny?
Sure. So Partners is basically, there's a killing in the gay community in LA. The police assign two, cops on it. One is kind of this, ladies' man type guy, and the other one is like a file clerk for the cops. But he's
a desk jockey.
Desk jockey. He thinks he's closeted homosexual, but apparently everyone knows in the precinct that he's gay. And this captain has this brilliant idea of they're going to go undercover as a gay couple to kind of, infiltrate this whole scene and figure out who the killer is.
And that is the problematic premise and plot of Partners.
What do you find problematic about it?
Well, it's of the time it was fine. It was, AIDS hadn't really kicked off, it was just like we can make a problematic because they dropped the F-bomb a lot.
A few times,
It's very insensitive. It's also sexist, Well, they even call they confuse homophobia with sexism within the movie. And then he's like, I know.
Yeah. Don't be a sexist when he's dropping F-bombs. It's like, that's not sexism. That's like homophobia,
But it's also sexist with him, like having sex with every straight woman that exists, like, and they only exist to have sex with him or get murdered. You know, it's
Well, we should probably talk about the leads. Ryan
yeah.
O'Neal plays the the ladies' man cop, or as the trailer suggests, Mr. Macho, and John Hurt is the effeminate gay man who he's teamed up with. I think both these guys were horribly miscast. What did you think about their portrayals?
Well, I just think it's wild because they're, especially at the time, these are heavyweights in the acting, community. Naturally, they've had their ups and
Hmm.
downs in their careers.
Is Ryan O'Neal really a heavyweight?
He
He was
was
he was
for a while.
nominated.
He was for a while. Come on, he was in
Well,
fucking Paper
he was
Moon.
considered he was considered he was good in Paper Moon. He was
He was
fine
in
in
Love
Barry
Story.
Lyndon.
He was on Barry Lyndon. He was on his way.
He was on his way, but I think he was just getting he lucked out with Love Story. I've never actually seen Love Story, but it became this big
It's
success.
not bad.
And
It's not bad at all.
well, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but he was nominated for Worst Actor of the Decade at the Razzies. I think he lost to Stallone actually, but
For the
I
Norman
mean,
Mailer thing or for Love Story?
well, no, it was for Partners and The Tough
Oh.
Guys Don't Dance, and like
Oh,
basically
the decade, yeah.
every movie he was in the '80s, he was just horrible in. So I mean,
He
as
tripped up a lot.
I wouldn't put up there with like De Niro or even like Paul Newman or something as like a great actor.
But he was, no, I wouldn't, but he was, as far as a movie star, he was like right there. He was right at the precipice, about to
He was
look
pretty big.
over, and then he shit
Yeah.
himself and fell backwards like into his own crap.
By doing Partners and shit like that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
well, yeah, and John Hurt, I didn't even know this, but he'd been in 25 movies before Partners. Yeah, most of them like British movies I hadn't even heard of, but like this was like his 25th movie. So I thought he kind of started in the 80s, like at the Elephant Man, I think is the first movie I like was aware that he was in. But he'd been around for a long time, I guess. But like, yeah, this was kind of one of his movies following that his like I think he's Oscar nominated for the Elephant Man. So it was you're right. You are correct. At the time, these were pretty like A-list guys going into this project.
Yeah, and it made, I was surprised, I just checked today, it made $6 million. More surprising
on a $6 million
is it
on a
it
$6
cost
million
$6
budget,
million
so
to make.
yeah,
Where did that
yeah.
money go? Like, what are you talking about? They spend most of their time
Well,
in interior
million is
shots and
nothing.
everything.
6 million is nothing today, but yeah, the movie looks and feels like a bad TV movie from
Yeah.
the time. There's nothing really cinematic about it. I mean, I guess a lot of that probably is attributed to James Burrows. We should probably mention is the director of the movie, who is he's kind of a legend in the TV field. I mean, he co-created Cheers and
Mhm.
was a major part of like Taxi and Will and Grace and stuff. He directed it. I think this is his only like feature film. But yeah, it plays like a bad TV movie. Nothing cinematic about it, I felt at all.
Um, I thought it was interesting. John Hurt tried to play his character really grounded, which I respect, but also is
Yeah.
not what this movie called for.
There was way too much dignity in his performance. Yeah, it
Yeah.
it wasn't right. And Ryan O'Neal, I do not believe at all for like this Mr. Macho guy. He's very effeminate himself. It's just nothing worked without their roles and their performances with that. I didn't buy it at all.
Like, I appreciate that they were going for a more grounded, connected relationship, but the writer is the guy who wrote this is only his first, I think, his only American English language screenplay, because he almost everything he's done has been translated.
Yeah, well, I think I saw that.
My Father, My Hero, whatever.
He wrote the original movie that Birdcage is based on, the French movie. It's called like La Cage aux Folies or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And this was his that was like a big international hit. Then this was like his kind of like one screenplay. But yeah, I was kind of reading about the production of this movie, and I guess they were worried about a director's strike coming up like the following year. So Paramount just rushed like 5 or 6 movies into production. They just skipped pre-production completely, and just as like almost like an experiment. And most of those movies, I don't remember any of them. One of them was Officer and a Gentleman, which actually was a pretty big hit in the 80s. Had this like kind of iconic end scene, and won a couple of Academy Awards. But the rest of them were really, kind of negligible, I think. But I think you really feel that in this movie. That did they even have a script, or what was it? What were they going on? I think everyone just said, go. You got your cast, you got things, just go. And yeah, I heard actually like they originally offered it to Clint Eastwood and Woody Allen, which I think probably would have elevated the material a lot, and that would have been a completely different movie. I think maybe if they got a different director, that would have been even different. But
You wouldn't even need the homosexual aspect if you had that. You would just need
right, yeah.
Clint Eastwood and Woody Allen. You know, like that's enough of a
Right.
pair.
Well, and as far as this movie being like offensive and stuff, going into it, watching the trailer, I was kind of expecting it to be like, you know, like guilty pleasure, kind of look how out of touch and stupid this old movie is, you know. And I think that's probably the curiosity piece that most people might tune in for. I noticed the YouTube movie has like 500,000 views. You know, but it wasn't that offensive. It was just kind of boring. I mean, like obviously the stereotypes, like gays listen to disco and they wear pink jumpsuits and shit like that. Yeah, just dumb and lazy writing. I think though, like any gay like film buffs out there that are just curious about this, well, tune in. I just think they're going to be really bored because it's just so lame.
That's the problem. Like the first act, like, oh, this is ridiculous and stupid, and then it just gets really boring really fast.
Yeah,
the investigation
really
isn't interesting. Like
No.
I almost quit. I was like, can I just watch half of this and say this is where I got? You know.
Well, I was really tempted to like just be on my phone or just you know
Yeah.
read a book or something while it was kind of do a crossword puzzle while it was on, because even by the end when the killer's revealed, I wasn't even aware. I was like, was he? I forgot he was in the movie. Like I was like, oh yeah, that okay. And yeah, I just totally tuned out. And yeah, it was pretty much for the first scene. I thought it was kind of DOA, just the opening with John Hurt walking in the police department, and then that secretary bends over and Ryan O'Neal is like, oh, he didn't check out her butt. I guess he's gay. You know, it was just so lame.
And they well, I was hoping so much at the end when John Hurt gets shot. I was like, did they kill him off? Like that would be great.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally. Do you hear what do you have the original ending with test audiences?
No, I didn't.
John Hurt committed suicide in the original ending with test audiences. Like, you know, like the original ending for First Blood with, you know, Stallone, and test audiences were like, no, I don't think that's a good one. But I think if that would have happened, it would just been such a fucking weird, like ending, you know, I don't know. It might have at least made it memorable. I don't know, something.
I just love that French mentality where, because the French screenwriter probably was like, yes, he comes and then he kills himself. You know, that's my great French accent. Like, what?
Oh, you think it's a French writer thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's maybe just the studio just like maybe thinking that like he was a tortured soul or something because he was gay. I don't know. I don't think it was anything that like, you know.
That's the thing. If they did this now, he would come out as, he would like discover his sexuality and be gay. Like I think if they did this movie now, well, they would never do this movie now.
They probably wouldn't do it next. It wouldn't be that big of a thing. It'd just be like, oh, you have a gay partner, so what? I mean, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang basically is a movie kind of about that. And even watching it again last Christmas, like I was a little weirded out by how often they bring up that Val Kilmer's character is gay, especially in like Los Angeles, like the Hollywood scene, like living there for a long time. It's like, you know, you don't like, oh, by the way, you're gay. Wow. Like, you know,
he was a PI in that
2005.
movie, right?
Oh yeah, I guess he's working with the police, but whatever. It just doesn't like it wouldn't be a big deal anymore. I'd almost be like an afterthought or something.
I don't want to get into this,
anyway,
but I think it would be a big deal if you're in the LAPD and you're openly gay. I think that would be a tough situation to be in and could be a nice
maybe. I don't know if it'd be enough to hang a movie on as far as 2022 versus 1982, and that's what they were kind of banking on. Well, you know about this is like the whole kind of answer. The flip side of that movie, Cruising. Have you ever seen Cruising, the William Friedkin movie?
Yeah, I'm aware of it, and I know that this movie was trying to be kind of a parody of it.
A parody of that, yeah, versus like a dark drama. Was, you know, guy goes into like the underground S&M gay scene in New York to find a killer, you know, and gets all fucked up in the head or whatever. That would actually be a funny movie where a guy just making up stuff just to go into the scene.
Yeah,
he's so closeted.
The chief is like, "What file? Yeah. What file are you talking about?
What are you talking about?"
He's out there. I'm gonna get him.
I need to go back in. Yeah.
I don't care how deep I have to go. I'm gonna find this guy.
What
guy?
Yeah. I'm gonna need some outfits. I'm gonna need all these crazy outfits.
I need more handcuffs. I keep running out of handcuffs.
Yeah. God damn. This investigation's going on for 5 years. You've made no busts, you know. I will say there was only 2 times that we kind of made me chuckle, which was due to that police chief, which is the standard in all these fucking movies,
Mm.
like the police chief. But he played is a character actor in Kenneth McMillan, who I think died like in the late '80s. But he was in a bunch of other stuff. But he had a couple of funny line readings, like when they're standing there, and he's like, "I know what you're thinking. He's a homosexual, so he's scared. He's gonna rape you."
I thought that was a really
What?
problematic line. Like, 'cause
Oh, it's
people
problematic
probably
as hell,
would-
but that's the reason I think people will tune in for those kinds of lines, just to
Yeah.
like look how stupid and out of touch this old movie is. And then there's another one where he's on the phone with Ryan O'Neal, and he's like, "Why'd you put me on this case?" He's like, "Because you're a great detective, and you got a great ass." And he just hangs up slowly. So that
And
was like,
that was by far the funniest
Yeah.
part of the movie. And he's like, oh, he knows what he's doing. His like delivery, like his face says it
Yeah.
all. He's like,
Right, yeah.
I'm fucking with this guy. It's great. Yeah.
So it had 2 mild chuckles. Other than that, I think the whole thing is just a waste of time. I don't think there's really nothing, I don't know, worth checking this movie out for. I don't think.
I would highly suggest everyone watch the trailer. I could not in a million years advise anybody to watch the actual movie
Just sit through this movie.
because it was
Yeah.
fucking torture. Also, hey, do you know the guy in the guy at the hotel early on? You remember who keeps grabbing at him?
Oh, like the
underneath the
hotel
table?
clerk guy.
He looked just like, I didn't research it because I'm not good at doing this. But he looked just like the guy who played the alien at the end of Real Men.
No, that's not the same guy.
All right. That would've
Yeah,
been
nice try,
cool,
though.
huh? Yeah, that would have.
I do like your researches though. It's like, hey, that guy was in that, right? No. Oh. Okay.
Oh.
I did find it fun. I was talking about James Burrows and stuff. Like he's a big TV guy, and and also you just really feel it with like all the cues and stuff. Where it's like, here's your car, and it's like this pink Volkswagen, convertible. It's like,
And you see the joke
wow,
coming
wow.
a million miles per hour, like a million miles away. Like she goes, "That's your
Yeah,
car?" And she goes to the window, like it's gonna be some gay car. And it's like,
Gay
it's this
car, yeah,
pink-
well, They even did a joke that we were making fun of like a decade ago. What a cliche it was, where it's like, there's no way I'm going to be in a gay photo shoot, and then cut to
yeah.
he's there at the gay photo shoot, in a bath towel, whatever. Yeah, it's really bad. But I did find out James Burrows, like, despite this movie not being a success, he's a big time TV guy. He has a $600 million net worth. So I don't think he spends too much.
He straight a lot
too
of
much time. Yeah.
Well, if I ever run into him, that's the first thing.
Did you
I'm
want to
gonna
throw up
fucking
when that
talk
happened? When I
about.
told you that number? Or like,
No. The first thing I see when I see James Burrow is going to be, hey, Partners. Remember that one?
Partners!
Let's talk about Partners.
If we ever have the chance to run into James Burrows, which we won't, because
I
he's
will.
into some country.
No, you live in Washington.
Well,
I'm in LA. I've run into him.
You have a better chance than I do, but he's not
I'm gonna
hanging
give
out
it-
at In-N-Out Burger. He's
I'm
at this
gonna give
country
it
club.
5
It
years.
costs like
I'm gonna-
$300,000 to join.
And I'm going to visit him in his retirement home and ask him all about Partners. And he can't go anywhere. I'm just going to roll
When he
his
can't
chair
move,
up.
you just start spoon feeding him. It's like, so
I'm going to roll
What
his
was with,
chair
the
up so we're
casting?
knee to knee. Partners. Let's talk about it.
you're gonna like, what do they call those interviews? Like the bum rush interview, or like the
Yeah.
spring interview or whatever.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
We don't know what you're talking
we should
about.
start doing that to old directors in homes anyway. We should
Just dress up like orderlies and slink into the room.
Yeah. I just pull out the mic and like just start. You get listening to Buddies on Buddies. Today we have a guest, James Burrows.
What is this?
You're on the air. Partners, 1982. What do you think?
Explain yourself.
Space. He did go on to work on Will and Grace, so maybe that was like penance for what he did.
And
with
I
Partners.
saw that
don't
too
know.
because I was going to say, like, because I love Cheers and I've watched that a couple times, you know,
Yeah.
and it is
Uh-huh.
really problematic with that. It's homophobic too. It's homophobia.
Yeah.
So maybe
I-
got somewhere
Yeah, I
in the
looked up-
90s. I was a little better.
Yeah, I was looking it up, and like John Hurt, I thought would have kind of like a oh, that movie was terrible, or even like the head of Paramount even said at one point, like, yeah, Partners was a really shitty movie, not in those words, but like the John Hurt, they said like at the time I was criticized for like wearing a pink jumpsuit or something, and he goes, and the guy that was telling, he said like homosexuals would never wear pink jumpsuits, but the guy that was saying that was a homosexual in a pink jumpsuit. What's the world coming to? That does not help your case at all, or like make you look better.
I thought I was impressed that he like refused to make it comedic, like
But that was wrong.
it was wrong for the movie. It was wrong for the
Yeah.
movie, but it was right
Yeah.
for homosexuals at that time or gay people
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like where she's basically his maid and cook and all this, like, like that was
well, that was
fucking
just
bad.
obviously he'd be like the woman who's like bringing him
Yeah.
breakfast in bed, which is just so stupid. And then I will give it that one part where they get arrested and the cops drop some more F-bombs at them at like this, and they throw them in jail, where Ryan O'Neal is kind of seeing how the cops, were treating homosexuals at the time. They kind of touched on it there with like a look on his face and stuff like that, but they never bring it up again. And it never, he never like comments on it, but I thought that was a little an attempt, I guess, a weak attempt, but still an attempt at sort of, not marginalizing them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he was like, can't you see he's cold and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah.
And that wasn't even to John Hurt's character. It was to the guy they were trying
The
to
guy that they're
entrap.
investigating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was
right.
a really weird scene too. He's like, he like seduces him. Where do you want to go? I want to go to the beach. So they pull up right on the beach, like on the sand. Like, I want to get naked and go. I ain't getting naked with this guy. And the cops show up. It's like, it's so weird, like horribly thought out.
It's just lame. It's just a bad TV show that somehow got to be a movie. They didn't even have my, one of the top cliches ever at the end when the bad guy's revealed, and like, Ryan was like, so, tell me, why'd you do it? It's like, I'll tell you why I did it. He's just got to pull the trigger, but then he goes into the whole explanation while the partner comes around with the gun. And, that's been like how many fucking movies.
And you know what? I can't even remember. That's how bad the movie is. Like, why the guy did it. What was the point? What was his motivations?
I guess he was being blackmailed by, someone at the magazine. He was going to be outed as something. I think he's some guy of importance or something, but I had really spaced out. Like, I remember him as a character in the movie beforehand. I kind of figured out that the woman was involved in, like, the one that Ryan O'Neal hooks up with was involved somehow in the killings, and she had but I tend to space out during exposition dumps anyway in movies. I don't really care.
And then the bullshit too, where he has the harsh whisper. So they find the guy with the harsh whisper that calls him because he's the model. So they go to that guy. They go, then like John Hurt's like, that's the guy. Stop him before he kills him. And they stop everything.
Yeah.
Like, no, it wasn't. It was some other harsh whisper guy who randomly isn't the murderer and has nothing to do with anything. Bad luck.
It's a yeah. And then John Hurt's crying on the cab ride home or whatever, the car ride home, and he's like, I'm only one of the cop of the force as a crying partner. Yeah. And no, the whole movie just sucks. So overall, what did you think of Partners?
Overall, I would give the trailer a 9 out of 10. That is a fun,
as far as
just enjoying like a stupid movie, fucking so misjudged, so bad, insane cast. Watch the trailer. The movie.
Watch the trailer. Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie. I will give it. I'll lead to 4 out of 10 because it was more mature than I was expecting it to be. Like they were trying to have nuance with John Hurt's character and their relationship.
Yeah.
They really made an attempt at that. I think I appreciate that more, not on an entertainment level because it wasn't entertaining, but then just having like Nathan Lane and Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, but Ryan O'Neal is not Clint Eastwood. He's a very effeminate dude
not.
who, like,
hey, listen,
all his line readings too were like, I can't believe this is happening to me.
No, he's all, and also John Hurt's like, it happens. You have to just mentioning Clint Eastwood and Nathan Lane and a movie or Woody Allen. Yeah, even Nathan Lane's like, there's your more commercial movie.
Well, there's something. Yeah, I don't know, but of course, yeah, they passed, but they probably saw the script. But yeah, I think the 5.3 rating on IMDb is quite generous. I would
Very
give this
generous.
movie honestly like a 2 out of 10 or something. Like, I don't think it's a entertaining movie at all. I was really bored. I don't think it works on like, let's check out this old un-PC movie for some, to laugh at it. I think people that tune in for that, we're just gonna be bored out of their minds too. Yeah, nothing really works. Bad casting, bad pace, just bad all around. I really did not like this one at all.
Well, let's. I mean, everybody's ratings themselves. I won't get on this too long because we're gonna get out of here. But
Yeah.
because I give it a 4 out of 10, which to me is like really low. Like a 2 out of 10 to me is like barely a movie. You have a camera.
Well,
You
I'd
managed
say
to
like,
put something
yeah, no,
together. Congrats.
I think a 1 out of 10 is like, it's basically borderline incompetent.
Yeah.
Like they forgot to load the film.
Yeah,
a few
exactly.
times or something.
Yeah, maybe they don't even have
Zero-
an editor, all edited in camera.
Yeah. A 0 would be like incompetent
0.
and maybe even like offensive or something, or like a black wall or something.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so a 2, you're giving it a 2, which means you think this movie is just like garbage, bottom of the heap.
I think it's garbage. I think it's fucking garbage. I think it's, at best, it's not that offensive, I guess would be like the best thing I could say for it.
It tries to have
Otherwise,
a message. Yeah.
It didn't even try that hard. It did
intolerance.
not try that hard. No, it's full of cliches. It's full of stock, stupid characters and all that kind of stuff. I think it was dumb fun. I didn't think it was like, any of that. Just boring, lame.
I agree on all that. I still think
Yeah.
4 is more suitable rating for a movie of that nature. You think
Okay.
a 2, and a 2 for
2.
me is like, those horror movies that they shoot on VHS and use stock footage or
Stock footage
footage
and
from
non-professional
the-
actors and stuff.
from the
Only reason I
prequels
give
and
it
stuff.
Only reason I give it a 2 is because it does have, like you said, like, some A-list actors from the time in it. Otherwise, this is a glorified TV movie that's just a bad TV movie from that time.
All right. Well, we both loved it. So we highly buddies on buddies highly suggest Partners.
Yeah.
So that's Partners. We didn't like it. You won't like it either. Watch the trailer. If you
Right.
want to watch the movie, it's on YouTube. I'm not even going to do the links.
Yeah.
Trailers
go at
on
your
the,
own risk,
the trailers on
whatever.
the link
Yeah.
of our last episode. Don't waste your
Mhm.
time. It fucking sucks. And it's really boring. If you want to watch the first 20 minutes, fine, but just watch the trailer. You have it. Save some time.
Yeah, it was a rough one to get through. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really rough, which leads us into what we're going to do for our next episode. And I told Kenny I would like to do a better movie, because I hate watching bad movies. I'm not like him. I don't have the
Mhm.
stomach for it. Like I said, I have better taste than he does. So I'm curious.
Hey, you're the one that gave a 4 out of 4 to Partners. So
not 4 out of 4, 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. It was terrible. I still give it a 4 out of 4 for trying and
Look, was it Avatar?
I like
No, but
movies.
was it close? Yeah.
Did I want to like it? No. Do I like it? Yes.
Oh yeah. So you
Okay.
get to
Well.
pick, you get to pick our next.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I thought this. I have a little list going. And I thought I'll throw actually 3 titles at you, and then you can kind of pick our next one. How about that?
Oh, I fucking love it.
Because yeah, okay, so all of them have their ups and downs. So the first one I thought, well, I want to do something more contemporary and something that's got a decent rating that we haven't seen on like from the century, and also is so there was
okay.
there's a French buddy action comedy called Ruby and Quentin. I think the actual French title is like Tais-toi, which means like shut up, and it stars Jean Reno and Gerard Depardieu.
Okay, great. You
It's-
were
it's- it's got-
you were really going after the viewers on here. Like, let's.
Yeah. Hey, we just did Partners and Real Men. We're not exactly going for the latest hottest movies here. So if you're still with us,
You're gonna put out a
thanks.
lure that big? Jesus Christ!
yeah.
I don't think I'm
Okay.
ready for the fame.
Well, it doesn't get much better. But the problem with Ruby and Quentin is
Mhm.
that it's not streaming anywhere in America. Like you can't even rent it, buy it.
I
So
can find
I
it.
checked all the platforms. Well, I don't want to hunt down a DVD or something like that.
Well,
and
here's
wait
the
a week,
thing. I
so-
don't want to do another
so-
French writer after this one.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that sounds interesting.
Okay. Okay.
But both of those
the next
actors, by the
one-
way, did a lot of this. The guy who wrote Partners
Yeah.
movies. They were
Mhm.
both in a handful of his movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Just so you know.
Okay. Well, number two. Was one I had a list going. I was hanging out with my friends Patrick and Dave last week. They actually watched the
Oh
podcast.
fuck! How's
They're on-
Patrick and Dave?
They're doing great. Yeah, they love the podcast. They're part of the 49 viewers that watched last week.
Oh fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
Yeah. So they asked me well, hey, let's put on a buddy movie. And I said, well, there's one and currently on YouTube in its entirety I've never seen from 1992 called Double Trouble, starring the Barbarian brothers. Do
Oh yeah.
you remember these guys? The mullet
Oh, yes,
guys
I
with the
do.
big beefy guys?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
two
Double
little.
Trouble.
They look like the Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like two little Lou Ferrignos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's called Double Trouble. The poster is they're right back to back holding the guns. One's of this, one's of that. So we watched it. So I'd really like to cover that at some point. So I didn't watch this movie in vain. And the third one I was thinking, since we have kind of been watching not so hot, movies, was maybe we should watch something that I do have a nice memories of, and it's takes place in my home state of Washington now. Stakeout from 1987, I think, which was one of the top movies that year. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it, being a pretty good buddy comedy, action comedy.
Emilio Estevez, Richard Dreyfuss. I remember it as a
Yep,
kid.
that's the one.
I have seen it a couple times, but of course it's been since my childhood.
Right.
Oh fuck me. Fuck these. It's a real Sophie's choice.
It's a hard one. Yeah, but so yeah, what do you think, Luke? I'll put it in your court. Jesus, don't have a fucking stroke, man. Just
I'm down. Just could you just give me a
Just name
second?
one.
Could you just give me a second?
Yeah. Are we doing a Lucas Reacts type fucking
Could you
video?
just
where
shut the
you're just
fuck
gonna
up
make
for 5
fucking-
seconds? 5 seconds. That's all I
All right.
ask. We'll do.
So it's Stakeout.
We'll do stakeout.
I was pretty sure that's where you're gonna go. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, we're doing stakeout next week.
Stakeout. It's my home state of Washington State. Excellent.
And the sequel with Rosie O'Donnell, maybe we'll do when we start doing triplets on triplets.
That's more of a team. Not really
Yeah.
a buddy movie, but whatever. We can still we can watch. We can watch both this week. We'll talk about both of them.
No.
Whatever.
We'll just do the first one.
Okay, let's do the
All
first one. Okay.
right. All right, so stakeout next week. It's partners this week. Before we get out of here, let's talk fan mail. What do we got? Fan mail.
Fan mail. Checked our email the other day. Still no fan mail.
No fan mail.
And no comments either last week
Yeah.
when we said just write anything in the comments. Doesn't matter how offensive it is. We'll read it.
Yeah,
No one commented.
No, I check every day. Yeah.
So now what's the plan, Luke? Where do we go from here?
With no fan mail, we are going to say our goodbyes. But before we go, what did we learn from this movie? What did you learn from this movie?
What I learned is that pre-production is key for movies on this level. I think Paramount hopefully learned their lesson when they skipped the pre-production. I think it's good to have rehearsals and take some time with casting, maybe do a couple of rewrites before you just say, go shoot.
Mm-hmm. I think that's
What
good.
did you learn, Lucas?
I learned that if the whole movie's on YouTube, there's a 90% chance the movie sucks.
Very true in itself as well. I think we could, and Double Trouble, like I mentioned earlier, it's on YouTube. So yeah, it's like I don't think we even need to check certain movies when we bring them up. We'll just be like, just go to YouTube, watch it, because the whole thing's going to be on there.
Great. Can't wait for that. I think that's it, right?
I think we pretty much covered it. Yeah. Skip Partners. Nah, not worth it.
Yeah, skip it. It's the worst one we've watched. So
America's really holding their breath on this one. Should I watch Partners? Should I not? Okay. All right.
Biden's turning to his assistant. He's like, turn it off. But it's all rendered. Turn it off.
Yeah. Turn it off. They said no.
All right. That's it. Now I just have to figure out again how to end the
how to turn the thing off.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Kenny. See you guys next week.
See you next week.